maybe you can give us some insight on this. How are we looking on this? Still a little bit of lag. All right, well, whatever. Kanti Patel, prominent hotelier. Wants to build a parking garage in the city. And now Patel plans to construct a hotel at the 164 San Marco Avenue location. As far as what I can tell, that was purchased from the Bozard family, the old Bozard lot, correct? Back there?
Yeah, it was purchased a while ago.
Right, yes, a long time ago.
Okay, go ahead.
He says there's room for a parking garage as well. He's willing to lease about 400 parking spots to the city, keeping a couple hundred, obviously, for his own use, for guests and for employees and things like that. I could read down this whole story, Troy, but why don't you fill us in, because you're the expert, man.
All right, so this plan's been around for a little bit, even prior to the whole Browdy's things happening. For some reason, it wasn't brought up by Kanti. It was brought up by another business person in a group, but we've been talking to the city for a little while about this, and the location, in case you're not wondering, we're not sure where 164 is. It's on San Marco, directly across from the old jail.
Right.
So that parking lot, that building there, it's now going to become a little food truck court for a little bit.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
And so we had a design. We were actually working with the trolleys, because they have the property where Subway is and some of those things.
Yep.
But this is only on the property that's at 164. The design, in our mind, we're looking for an area for possibly workforce parking. So if we can figure out to park there, and the trolleys, or some way of getting them into town to work. We don't necessarily know if it'll work for the tourists, except for the Old Town trolleys, and with that,
but that would still be beneficial, right?
It seems
to
like
give people a place to park, so that there's other spaces even closer for tourists, whatever, to park.
It seems like a good location to us. So we took it to the city. The city was interested in it, but they had already started some conversation with what's happening with Browdy.
Sure.
And they're still in that conversation. That's still their focus. But we don't operate parking structures. So if we did this, we would probably build it and lease it to the city. And let the city, because the city already has that infrastructure of how to run a parking garage. So that's kind of our plan, and we're still in conversations with the city. It's not a huge push, but it got brought up in a business meeting, and then it kind of went to this level of getting out to the news and stuff like that. When Blake told me the story, I was like, "Yeah, I saw Stewart's article." And
I think that's where this came from.
But we have some drawings of what we think can fit there, and we're hoteliers, so we own all the way to US 1. We would still put a hotel where the Granite Place is there, and the parking structure would be on the back side of this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
because some people are thinking, it's going to be the whole length of that. No, we're still going to make our money too.
Yeah, and you got plenty of room to work with.
Yeah,
we got a lot of room out there.
It's a good piece of property. I think in my mind, it makes sense to be there, but without the city's participation, it's probably not something we will do on our own.
Right.
So it's kind of a good, to me, it's a good government business partnership.
Yeah.
But all the numbers have to make sense for the city and for the Mr. Patel's property.
For sure.
So.
For sure. He's a smart businessman. It's got to make sense, man, for sure.
And he wants the best for the city, and that's the reason, he took, I would say it's probably going on 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
We had this drawing.
I got to tell you, I like when I see a hotel popping up and it's one of Kanti's hotels, because I know it's not some group out of Miami who doesn't care about the city. I know it's a guy who lives here, has roots here. I went to school with his kids. I mean, he is a guy who cares about St. Johns County. If we're going to have hotels pop up, which we are, it's inevitable. I like it when I see Kanti's name on them, because I know he's a good guy who cares about our community, man.
I mean, like a prime example is Hilton Garden Inn. Right on US 1.
That's right next to the spot we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's right next to it. But I mean, if you look at that hotel, Hilton Garden just wanted us to do a box. The city had no restrictions on that design or anything like that. Mr. Patel added hundreds of thousands of dollars to make that look good. and he did it because, it's for the city. That's an entry coming into the city. So it's one of the first things you see. So he does things right, and his sons are both a part of the business, and they're both have the same vision he has. So it's a fun group to work for.
Oh yeah, man. So keep your eyes out for that, and of course, Troy will check in with you from time to time as that develops, and if there's any big news, just let us know, man.